Archangel Michael says, "It's an emergency, open it immediately." My beloved child. Stop for a moment. Take a breath. Let the noise around you become quiet, even if only for a few seconds. You may have opened this message casually. Perhaps you were scrolling without thinking. Perhaps you almost passed it by. Perhaps something inside you made you pause when you saw these words. Whatever brought you here, allow yourself to listen, not with fear, but with awareness. This is an inspirational spiritual message written as a dramatic meditation. It is not a literal emergency alert or a prediction of danger. You do not need to panic, and you do not need to believe that something terrible is about to happen. Instead, imagine this moment as a powerful invitation to stop running from the things your heart has been trying to tell you. My beloved child, there are moments when life becomes so loud that you can no longer hear your own soul. There are moments when you keep answering everyone else while ignoring yourself. There are moments when you keep saying, "I am fine," even though a quieter voice inside you whispers, "I need rest." And there are moments when you continue walking in a direction simply because you have already traveled so far, even though something within you knows that the road is no longer yours. Perhaps this is your moment. Not because disaster is coming. Not because you have been chosen for suffering. But because you have reached a point where something inside you deserves your attention. Imagine Archangel Michael standing before you, not as a figure demanding fear, but as a symbol of courage, protection, truth, and strength. His message is simple. You cannot heal what you refuse to acknowledge. You cannot release what you keep pretending does not hurt. You cannot step into a new chapter while constantly rereading the pages that broke you. And you cannot discover your strength while spending every day measuring yourself against people who were never meant to walk your path. My beloved child, perhaps you have been waiting for a sign. You asked for clarity. You asked for confirmation. You asked heaven for an answer. Maybe you expected something spectacular. Maybe you expected a dream. Maybe you expected a sudden miracle. But sometimes the answer arrives quietly. Sometimes the answer is the sudden realization that you are tired of betraying your own peace. Sometimes the answer is the courage to say no. Sometimes the answer is walking away without explaining yourself for the 100th time. Sometimes the answer is forgiving yourself for not knowing what you know now. And sometimes the answer is simply this. Begin again. You may have been carrying an invisible weight. Nobody sees it. You smile. You work. You speak. You answer messages. You make plans. You laugh with people. Yet when the room becomes quiet, you feel the weight again. You remember conversations. You remember disappointments. You remember promises that were never fulfilled. You remember people who changed. You remember opportunities you missed. You remember the version of yourself that believed everything would happen differently. And you wonder, where did I go wrong? My beloved child, hear this carefully. Not everything that ended was a failure. Not everyone who left was a punishment. Not every closed door was rejection. Some endings are protection. Some delays are preparation. Some disappointments redirect you toward something you could not yet recognize. And some people leave because their role in your story has reached its natural conclusion. You do not have to turn every goodbye into a tragedy. You do not have to chase every person who walks away. You do not have to convince someone to recognize your value. Your worth does not decrease because another person failed to appreciate it. Your light does not disappear because someone chose darkness. Your future does not become smaller because one chapter ended. There is still life ahead of you. There are still mornings you have never experienced. There are conversations you have never had. Places you have never seen. People you have never met. Ideas you have never created. Laughter you have never heard. Peace you have never fully understood. Your story is not finished. That is why this message begins with urgency. But the urgency is not fear. The urgency is awakening. Wake up to your own life. Wake up to the possibilities you stopped considering. Wake up to the dreams you buried because someone laughed at them. Wake up to the boundaries you abandoned because you were afraid of disappointing others. Wake up to the fact that your time is valuable. You do not know how many years you have. None of us do. That truth should not frighten you. It should teach you to live intentionally. Stop postponing every meaningful thing until some imaginary perfect day. There may never be a perfect day. There will only be today. And today can be enough to begin. Perhaps you have been waiting for someone else to rescue you. Perhaps you are waiting for an apology. Waiting for a message. Waiting for someone to return. Waiting for a relationship to change. Waiting for your family to understand you. Waiting for your circumstances to become easier. Waiting for money. Waiting for confidence. Waiting for permission. My beloved child, sometimes the person you have been waiting for is you. You have been waiting for yourself to become brave enough to choose yourself. You have been waiting for yourself to stop negotiating with what repeatedly hurts you. You have been waiting for yourself to believe that peace is not something you must earn from other people. And today, you can begin. Imagine standing at the edge of an old life. Behind you are the things that shaped you. Some beautiful. Some painful. Some confusing. Some unforgettable. You cannot erase them. You do not need to. Your past is a teacher, not a prison. Take the lessons. Leave the chains. Take the wisdom. Leave the shame. Take the memories that make you smile. Release the memories that keep you trapped. You are allowed to become someone your past would not recognize. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to grow. You are allowed to outgrow environments that once felt comfortable. You are allowed to discover that the dream you had at 20 is not the dream you want at 30. You are allowed to become different. Growth is not betrayal. Change is not weakness. Beginning again is not failure. There is tremendous courage in admitting, this no longer feels right. There is courage in saying, I need help. There is courage in saying, I made a mistake. There is courage in saying, I forgive you. And sometimes there is even greater courage in saying, I forgive myself. My beloved child, How long have you punished yourself for an old decision? How long have you replayed one mistake as though you are required to serve a lifetime sentence for it? You made the best decision you could with the knowledge you had at that moment. Today you know more. Today you see differently. Today you have experienced consequences that changed your understanding. That is called growth. Do not demand that your younger self possess the wisdom you earned later. Be gentle with the person you used to be. That person was trying to survive. That person was trying to belong. That person was trying to be loved. That person did not know what you know now. Speak kindly to them. Then continue forward. The symbolic message of Michael is one of protection. Protection does not always mean preventing every painful experience. Sometimes protection means giving you the courage to walk through an experience without losing yourself. Sometimes protection looks like discernment. You begin noticing what drains you. You begin noticing who only contacts you when they need something. You begin noticing which conversations leave you anxious. You begin noticing which environments make you shrink. You begin noticing which promises repeatedly remain promises. And slowly, you stop ignoring what you see. That is discernment. You no longer need to label everyone as good or bad. You simply ask, is this healthy for me? That question can change your life. Not everything deserves access to you. Not every argument deserves your energy. Not every accusation deserves a response. Not every invitation deserves a yes. Not every opportunity deserves pursuit. And not every person deserves unlimited access to your heart. Your peace has value. Protect it. But do not confuse protection with isolation. You were not created to live permanently behind walls. You need people. You need connection. You need friendship. You need community. You need moments of laughter. You need people who can tell you the truth without humiliating you. You need relationships where you do not have to perform to be accepted. Find those connections. Nurture them. Be that person for someone else too. Because the greatest form of protection is not fear. It is wisdom. My beloved child, there may be something you have been afraid to confront. Maybe it is a decision. Maybe it is a relationship. Maybe it is your financial situation. Maybe it is your career. Maybe it is a habit. Maybe it is the way you speak to yourself. Maybe it is the fact that you are exhausted. Whatever it is, do not make the problem larger by refusing to look at it. A problem becomes more frightening in darkness. Bring it into the light. Name it. Write it down. Break it into pieces. Ask what you can control. Ask what you cannot control. Then take one responsible step. You do not have to solve your entire life tonight. One step is enough. One phone call. One honest conversation. One application. One apology. One boundary. 1 hour of rest. One decision. One beginning. Never underestimate the power of one small action repeated consistently. A mountain is crossed one step at a time. A broken routine is rebuilt one morning at a time. A wounded heart is restored one honest breath at a time. A dream becomes reality through countless ordinary actions that nobody applauds. You may not feel powerful today. That does not mean you are powerless. Courage is not always a feeling. Sometimes courage is an action taken while fear is still present. You can be afraid and still move. You can be uncertain and still begin. You can be tired and still ask for help. You can be disappointed and still hope. You can be heartbroken and still love life. You can be confused and still choose what is right. That is strength. My beloved child, stop waiting to feel fearless. Fearlessness is not required. You only need enough courage for the next step. And when you take that step, you may discover that the next one becomes easier. Then another. Then another. Eventually you look behind yourself and realize, I am no longer where I used to be. That moment is coming through your own choices. Not through superstition. Not through panic. Not through waiting for a mysterious sign. Through action. Through patience. Through wisdom. Through faith in your ability to keep going. The image of Archangel Michael holding a sword has inspired generations because the sword can symbolize truth. Truth cuts through confusion. Truth separates reality from fantasy. Truth helps you see what you were avoiding. And sometimes truth hurts. But confusion hurts longer. So ask yourself, what truth have I been avoiding? Do not rush the answer. Sit with it. Maybe you already know. Maybe you have known for months. Maybe you have been hoping that circumstances would change so you would not have to make the decision yourself. But circumstances do not always change. Sometimes you must change your response. You cannot control another person's choices. You cannot control whether someone loves you. You cannot control whether someone apologizes. You cannot control whether someone understands your intentions. You cannot control the past. But you can control what you do next. That is where your power lives. Your power lives in your next decision. Not yesterday. Not tomorrow. Now. My beloved child, if your heart is heavy, put down the weight for a moment. You do not have to carry everything simultaneously. Ask yourself, what is actually mine to carry? Maybe someone else's anger is not yours. Maybe someone else's expectations are not yours. Maybe someone's disappointment is not your responsibility. Maybe a mistake from years ago does not belong in today's hands. Return what is not yours. Keep what belongs to you. Your responsibilities. Your values. Your choices. Your healing. Your future. Your character. Your integrity. These are yours. And you can build them slowly. There is no deadline for becoming whole. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not competing with another person's timeline. Social media may make you feel like everyone else is winning while you are standing still. But you are seeing edited moments. You do not know their private battles. Do not compare your entire life to somebody else's highlight reel. Your path is allowed to look different. Your success may arrive quietly. It may not look like luxury. It may look like peace. It may look like sleeping without anxiety. It may look like paying your bills without panic. It may look like having one trustworthy friend. It may look like enjoying your own company. It may look like waking up without dreading the day. Do not underestimate these victories. A peaceful life is a remarkable achievement. My beloved child, you may also be waiting for a person. Someone whose name appears repeatedly in your thoughts. Someone who changed you. Someone you cannot easily forget. Someone you believe may be part of your future. If that person is meant to remain in your life, let reality reveal it. Do not build an entire future from signs, coincidences, dreams, or assumptions. Let actions speak. Healthy love is not constant confusion. Healthy love does not require you to chase someone endlessly. Healthy love includes communication, respect, consistency, accountability, and freedom. If you love someone, wish them well. If they choose you, build something real. If they do not, grieve honestly, and continue living. Your life cannot be placed permanently on hold for someone else's decision. You deserve a life that moves forward. And perhaps your greatest surprise is that the future you fear losing may not be the future you actually need. Sometimes we beg for one door to open while another door has been open behind us the entire time. Turn around. Look. There may be possibilities you have ignored because you were emotionally attached to one outcome. Release the demand that life happen exactly as you imagined. Leave room for something better. That does not mean everything will magically become perfect. It means you stop limiting your future to one specific picture. My beloved child, there is another emergency. It is the emergency of your attention. Where are you spending your attention? On fear? On comparison? On resentment? On people who do not choose you? On mistakes that cannot be changed? On imaginary conversations? On worst-case scenarios? Your attention is precious. Guard it. Because whatever receives your attention repeatedly becomes powerful in your mind. If you feed fear all day, fear becomes louder. If you feed resentment, resentment grows. If you feed gratitude, gratitude becomes easier to notice. If you feed curiosity, possibility becomes visible. This does not mean positive thinking magically removes problems. It means your attention influences what you notice and how you respond. Choose carefully. Today, notice something beautiful. The morning light. A cup of tea. A conversation. A song. A tree moving in the wind. A quiet room. A person who showed kindness. Small things are not insignificant. Small things are the texture of life. Do not spend your entire existence waiting for a giant miracle while ignoring the thousands of small miracles already surrounding you. Your life is happening now. Not when you become richer. Not when you become famous. Not when someone chooses you. Not when your problems disappear. Now. This ordinary day is part of your story. Respect it. Use it. Live it. And if you are tired, rest. Rest is not quitting. Your body is not a machine. Your mind needs silence. Your emotions need space. Your spirit needs moments without performance. You do not have to be productive every second to deserve your existence. You are a human being, not a productivity contest. Take a breath. Drink water. Eat something nourishing. Sleep when you need sleep. Talk to someone trustworthy when the weight becomes too heavy. And if you are facing a genuine emergency in your real life, contact the appropriate local emergency service or a trusted person rather than relying on a spiritual message. Faith can accompany responsible action. It should never replace it. That distinction matters. My beloved child, this message is not asking you to become someone else. It is asking you to return to yourself. Before the disappointments. Before the fear. Before the opinions. Before the expectations. Before the constant need to prove yourself. There is still a person inside you who knows how to hope. Find them. Protect them. Give them room. You may have forgotten how to dream because life taught you to expect disappointment. Dream again. Not recklessly. Not blindly. But honestly. Ask yourself. If I knew I could not fail, what would I attempt? Then ask a better question. What is one small step toward that dream that I can take without waiting for perfect confidence? Take that step. The future does not require you to know everything. It only requires you to continue learning. You will make mistakes. You will change direction. You will sometimes choose wrongly. That is part of being human. Do not demand perfection from yourself. Demand honesty. Demand growth. Demand accountability. Demand kindness. These will take you farther than perfection ever could. My beloved child, the emergency is not that your future is doomed. The emergency is that you may be spending today worrying about tomorrow while forgetting to live. Come back to this moment. Feel your feet. Take one slow breath. Look around. You are here. You survived everything that brought you to this moment. There were days you thought you could not survive. Yet here you are. That does not mean everything ahead will be easy. It means you have evidence that you can endure difficult seasons. You have already crossed storms you once believed would destroy you. Remember that. You are not beginning from nothing. You are beginning from experience. Every lesson is part of your equipment. Every scar taught you something. Every disappointment sharpened your discernment. Every ending gave you an opportunity to redefine yourself. Every recovery proved that pain is not always permanent. And every morning you wake up is another invitation to participate in your own life. So, my beloved child, do not panic. Do not assume the worst. Do not turn a dramatic headline into a prophecy. Instead, let this message become a mirror. Ask yourself what needs your attention. Ask yourself what needs to end. Ask yourself what needs to begin. Ask yourself where you have abandoned your own voice. Ask yourself what boundary you already know you need. Ask yourself what dream still whispers your name. Then listen. Not to fear. To wisdom. Not to desperation. To clarity. Not to obsession. To reality. Not to someone else's expectations. To your deepest values. You do not need to know the entire road. You only need enough light for the next step.